These were automatons created to assist Hephaistos in his forge. They were made of gold in the shape of young women, and they were not just for show. They were fully mobile, intelligent, strong, and able to speak and understand instructions. All these attributes made them extremely helpful to the god of smiths as he created his marvels, such as the ones we'll discuss next. These creations were given to King Minos of Crete and King Aeetes of Colchis, respectively, but we'll talk about them in the context of the myth in which they appear, the tale of Jason and the Argonauts. Jason's kingdom had been usurped. In order to prove his right to the throne, Jason was tasked with retrieving a marvelous artifact known as the Golden Fleece. When he and his crew of heroes, the Argonauts, arrived in Colchis where the fleece was kept, Jason met Medea, daughter of the king of Colchis, Aeetes. The princess, enamored by the handsome stranger, agrees to help him. Aeetes knew why Jason was there and gave him a set of impossible tasks to complete before he could take the fleece. The very first of which was to yoke the fire-breathing bulls. These bulls, the ones created by the god Hephaistos, were made of bronze and really did breathe fire. Their bodies were so hot no one could touch them without being burned to charcoal, which makes one wonder what the heck they were actually for. Regardless, and fortunately for Jason, Medea was a powerful sorceress and created a magical ointment that protected him. He managed to get the yoke on the bulls and used them to plow a field. He then had to sow dragon's teeth and create an army of phantoms, which he also had to defeat. But with Medea's help he succeeded again. Likewise, with Medea's aid, he defeated the dragon guarding the fleece. On the trip back to Jason's kingdom, they were forced to make landfall briefly at Crete. This is where Hephaistos' gift to Minos comes into the story. Talus was a giant made of bronze, tasked to defend the coastline of the island against pirates and raiders. So far as Talus was concerned, Jason and his crew fit the bill, and he attacked. Again, likely that Jason and the Argonauts would have been crushed except for Medea. Medea, whose name is derived from a Greek word for cunning, knew Talus' secret. Hephaistos' creation was powered by a fluid known as holy ichor. This flowed through the artificial giant's body like blood through a human. The difference was that Talus had, almost literally, an Achilles heel. The fluid had been poured into Talus' body through a port in his heel. Medea used her powers to confuse Talus long enough for Jason to open that port and defeat the giant. Which makes one wonder if this story shouldn't be called Medea and the Argonauts, because Jason would definitely have been hosed without her. Fortunately for him, he was good-looking. Unfortunately for Medea, he was a cad. Caucasian in this instance simply refers to the Caucasus Mountains, where, according to legend, the Titan Prometheus is forever chained. Prometheus was the guy who, as the legend also states, brought the secret of fire to humankind, before which the secret was known only to the gods. Zeus, king of the gods, was a little irritated at this, and so decided to punish Prometheus for all eternity. He had him chained to a mountaintop where a giant eagle would come once a day and eat his liver. This naturally would hurt a lot. The liver would grow back, and the next day the eagle would return and do it all over again, and again. You get the idea. There is some disagreement on the identity and origin of the eagle. In some versions it is the offspring of the earth goddess Gaia and the primordial god of the abyss, Tartarus, or possibly the offspring of Typhon, a giant with 100 serpent heads, and Echidna, who was half woman and half snake, known as the mother of monsters. But the common belief was the eagle was just another of Hephaistos' creations, which makes more sense, as an automaton is much better suited to the kind of repetitious duty that Zeus had in mind. Which is the true story? Well, they're all stories, and thus equally true. Pick the one you like. It won't make any difference to Prometheus. Cruceros and Argyros were two immortal hounds crafted by Hephaistos and given to Alkinos, king of the Phaeacians. The hounds were gold and silver, respectively. These two guarded King Alkinos' palace, and they never needed to eat or sleep. In short, perfect watchdogs. While there are no great stories associated with these two hound automatons, the fact that they existed reinforces a common theme in Hephaistos' creations. Did you see it? Other than the god-level craftsmanship they all required, almost all of the automatons shown were extremely suited to the tasks required of them. In short, and in addition to any other virtues they may have possessed, they were all very practical: a giant coastal defender, tireless and capable of assistance, guard dogs. The only possible exception was the two furry bulls in the Jason and the Argonauts legend, excluding the fact that they were likely necessary to plow the fields and sow the seeds in question. Otherwise, not so much. We're back in true form, however, in the next example. These were just what the name suggests: tripod automatons with no other purpose than to carry dishes of food and drink to the gods during their frequent celebrations. Like the golden handmaidens, they were also intelligent and traveled among the gods like attentive waiters, making certain the guests always had what was required. The fact is, Hephaistos was way ahead of us in the robot department. While the signs are promising, we still haven't quite caught up with the legend. Maybe one day.